Here we are gathered at the most famous crossroads in Ireland, a place of character and characters, sports and sports people. Many of you were born in this locality. Others, like myself, have made the locality our home, and over the years we have come to appreciate the wealth of history that's around us every day. Local history gives us a greater pride in our native place and an appreciation of the people, both past and present, that are central to our area. An interest in local history has always been there, but in recent years the interest has grown as we head into many years of commemoration, starting this year with the centenary of the sinking of the Titanic. There's a poem, some of you may be familiar with it. It's called The Two Travellers. One of the travellers is constantly boasting of the places he has seen worldwide, while the other appreciates the local place. One verse mentions the jockey. This is it. I've lived in the land where tobacco is grown, in the suburbs of Santiago, and I spent 2 years in Sierra Leone and 1 in Del Fuego. I walked across Panama all in a day. Ah me, but the road was rocky. The other replied, will you kindly say, were you ever at Horse Jockey? The poet was C.J. Boland, and he was from Clonmel, and he wrote the poem in the 1890s. And if he had come at that time from his home in Clonmel to the Horse Jockey, the chances are that he would have come by train. Having a railway station here at the Jockey no doubt raised the status of the place and enhanced the opportunities for people here. Any get-together here at the Jockey wouldn't be complete without mention of some of the great characters associated with the place. They're all fondly remembered for their contribution to life here. They loved life and added so much to people's lives around the Jockey. People like Jimmy Stapleton, Andy Fogarty, Paddy Malumbi, Harry Ryan, and Jerry Costello, to mention but a few. Bill O'Keefe had the pub and post office here up until 1981. It was sold then to Michael Purcell. At that time, the post office moved to John Joe and Joan O'Keefe. Both of those were the heart and soul of this community. Tom and Dorothy Egan took over here in 1986, and many developments since have brought this venue to the state-of-the-art hotel that we enjoy today. And looking around the Jockey today, we see John Keefe's garage, the grocery, Luby's and Amber Oil, all showing that the people of the Jockey are resilient and holding their own during the recession. Sport over the years has been like religion around the Jockey. And it wasn't all hurling. Recalling sport with some of the locals, they mention skittles and weight throwing and the feats of Jim Skehan of Parkstown. 100 years ago, cricket was a very popular game at the Horse Jockey. Handball, of course, was big here. The building of the alley in 1904 and the great initiative shown 50 years later in 54 when the alley was roofed and the glass wall was put in there, the first in Ireland to have a glass wall in the alley. And we had great players here at the Jockey: Tom O'Keefe, Jimmy Shelley McCarthy, Michael Sticks Shanahan, Thomas Doheny, not forgetting in more recent times the enthusiasm of Danny Butler. Kevin Croke, along with Pat Ryan from Ballyporeen, won the Novice All-Ireland handball doubles in 95 and the junior in 96. The athletic story of this part of the country goes way back to 1878 when Tim Dwyer won the Irish 1 mile championship. Other great athletes followed, great families: the Gleesons, the Shanahans, Grady's, Hogans, Mullins, Cawdy and Condon. In 1946, the inaugural meeting of my Carkey Burris Athletic Club was held in Jack Carty's shoe repair shop at the Big Tree just across the road. The chairman was John Butler and the secretary was Tom Shepherd, and training took place in Bill O'Keefe's and later in Boylson's. Paddy Shanahan's and Paddy O'Keefe's fields were used, and the venue for the championship races was usually John O'Keefe's. Point to Point also was big here back in the 30s and was revived again in 2002. The most famous horse to run at the Point to Point was War of Attrition. He didn't do so well at the Jockey, but went to do better, capturing the blue ribbon of National Hunt Racing by winning the Cheltenham Gold Cup in 2006. And mention of the Gold Cup reminds me to mention a local Jimmy Fitzgerald Cheltenham Gold Cup winning trainer with Forgive and Forget in 1985. As a jump jockey, Jimmy rode 123 winners. From this part of the country also came Sam Melbourne, the great collector of GA memorabilia, much of which now is displayed at Lorna Parka in Thurles. Parkstown Park was the place in the 1960s to be for terrier, sheepdog and cocker racing. They had the greyhound racing in Thurles, but the jockey wasn't to be outdone. Bookmakers such as Liam O'Daly, fondly remembered as Dilly Dally, the soldiers are stories are legion. Stories of tug of war, bicycle races around by Ballymarine and back by Powell-Dine, and not forgetting that Powell-Dine School won the All-Ireland Soccer Championship in 1995. And in more recent years, the Camogie All-Irelands, the victory celebrations and the welcome home, they were all here at the Jockey, starting with Maeve Stokes in 1999. And those glory years of Tipperary Camogie were sponsored by Tom and Dorothy Egan here of the Horse and Jockey Hotel. Hurling, of course, is the number one topic of conversation after the weather. This has been the case for generations, going back even before the time the GA was ever founded at Hayes' Hotel in Thurles. And incidentally, there were two from the parish here present at the foundation meeting in 1884, a fact that's often forgotten. Tim Dwyer of Ballyvannan and John Butler from Ballahudda were present at that foundation meeting. In 1999, Horse and Jockey celebrated in style the centenary of the All-Ireland victory 100 years before. And this event and others like it awakened people's interest in the past. Few that were there will ever forget the brilliant performance of the late Jimmy Tobin when as Master of Ceremonies he skillfully guided the celebrations and the unveiling of the plaque on the Thurles Road.
I'd just like to mention in connection with this map, the local landscape, I think, contains so many aspects of our history as well. The local Ordnance Survey maps highlight castles and old churches and ruins and old forts and all things worth preserving, and many other aspects of life as well. But there are two things. One of them is mentioned on or highlighted on the map. The other is off the map, and it's not, I think, marked officially on an ordnance map. And that's two disused cemeteries. They're not enclosed in any way. One of them is near Mycarkey, back in the fields. They're now owned by Joe Dwyer in Mycarkey, disused cemetery of about 1/4 of an acre. And I gather there's another one here near to the Horse and Jockey in a place called Kyle Darmody. And I just maybe like to mention that, maybe with a view, maybe it's not possible to put up plaques where the cemeteries are, but it might be possible to put up a plaque in the maybe St. Peter's Cemetery on the wall there, highlighting those maybe forgotten cemeteries and as a way of remembering those who are buried there. The cemeteries are very important to people who come looking for their roots. So for one cemetery in the parish, Ballymarine, where many famous people, many local people as well are buried, that cemetery has been catalogued by Pat Bracken, so I'd like to highlight that. I gather his plans to put it on a website maybe at some stage, but he has catalogued it and taken note of all the inscriptions on the various tombs there. And there are many illustrious people buried there, and many of everybody is illustrious in their own way. Parish records are very much important to people like that who gather. So our parish records go back to the 1790s, and we get constant inquiries from immigrants from Australia and America and various other places, as well as local people tracing their roots.
On the Jockey Road they travel fast, with cars and lorries flying past. Why don't they stop and rest a while and blend with our relaxing style? They'll meet the men who hurl the ball and those who alley crack the wall, the athletes bold who beat the best and laid a challenge to the rest. The inn it stands with welcome door, as it stood in days of yore, when by Ankeny the stage been done, food and drink for everyone. They'll hear of how in '84 we won the county yet once more, with Berrigan leading from centre back and Tobin thrown away his cap. The station house in silence stands, recalling trains and travels grand, while gazing down upon the scene, Old Killock and its woods serene. Down there at the cross stands the school of Pauldine. It prepared us for life, and for those days I pine. The best of our lives, no troubles or cares, before heading for Thurles and the big iron stairs. If playing at cards appeals to you, we played the whist in 25 too. We loved to chat the yarn and song, and often stay up until 41. The farms about are a joy to view, with corn, beet and barley too, and cattle grazing in pastures green, the best in Ireland can be seen. The Gabon sayer, he walked this land, a mason skilled with chisel in hand. On the Chalice Island of Derrinaflan, he sleeps amid abbots and saintly men. We'll dance a set before we go, and drink your health a time or two. New lifelong friendships found will be in Tipperary's lovely Horse Jockey.
Let us know what you think. Talk to any of the organising committee, and even if you would like to get involved with us in organising events such as tonight, you'd be more than welcome, and to contact any committee member. And we hope to make an event like this an annual event. And next year, as Father Burke mentioned, 2013 is named The Gathering. And The Gathering is about the people of Ireland throwing open their arms and inviting anyone with a connection with our country to come and visit. A year from today, on June the 7th, 2013, we hope to be gathered here again at the Jockey, and we would appreciate if you would let family members, relations and friends who are abroad to know this, as they might like to plan their holidays to be here to celebrate with us.